Hello, Wingfeather fans. Welcome to the Wingfeather Holiday livestream. My name's Elijah. I'm the owner of Aerwiar Archives, and we actually have some news today. We are going to be joined by author Andrew Peterson to talk about some new merch that will be revealed this holiday season. And we're also going to have Chris Wall joining us to talk about Season 3 and the plan for Wingfeather going forward. It's going to be a very full live stream, so you should stick around to the end because you won't want to miss anything we're revealing tonight. Now, without further ado, I present to you a favorite of towns near and far, the one and only Andrew Peterson. Hi, Andrew.
Hey, what's up, Elijah? Good to see you, man.
Good to see you too. Yeah.
Thanks
How are you
for doing
doing?
this. I'm doing well. Yeah, it's been a busy season, but I'm doing really well. I'm really sorry that we haven't updated more. I heard that you were disgruntled.
That's all right. I was a little disgruntled.
Well, now you're in the captain's chair, so
Yeah,
so
here
it
I am.
worked. Your disgruntation worked.
Yes, it did.
So let that be a lesson to everybody watching that if you want things in life, be disgruntled about them, and maybe it will happen.
Being disgruntled works.
Don't do that. I promise that's not a good idea. Well, it's good to have good to see you again. What are we doing here?
Tonight we are going to be looking at some new merch we have.
Yes, very excited. Very excited about the new merch. I'm curious about your favorite moments from season 2.
Season 2. All
You had
right.
lots of predictions.
Yes, I did.
I remember this. And did you have any moments where you were like, "Ooh, they got that right"?
Ooh. You definitely got Poto right. And Poto's
Yes.
telling a story at the
Yes.
Strander camp. That is one of my favorite scenes.
When his eye gets up close to the screen.
It's so
Yeah,
fun.
that turned out exactly like I imagined it when I wrote it. Yeah, it's a good one. I especially liked the wow, you just took one of my answers. I'm trying to remember one of my favorite things in it was the comedy bits with Oscar and Poto at the beginning of, I feel like it was episode 3, maybe it was episode 2, when they're climbing through the Strander burrows, and there's this kind of Looney Tunesy almost moment where they're popping up in funny places. I just loved that so much because it was a pretty intense season. The storyline is heavier certainly, so it was a nice break. I loved that. Anyway, can't wait to get season 3 going.
Yeah, season 3, so exciting.
Yeah. So I will say really quick that season 2, since we're talking about it, people have been asking. It is now available if you're a guild member, of course, and it can be streamed now in the guild. It's also available on the DVD Blu-ray, and there is a third option because it's the holiday season. We are actually and it's also available digitally, so you can wherever you would buy something digitally. Amazon or whatever, you can get it there. But there is a third option, and that is that for 24 hours, starting now, if you buy any of the merch that we're going to show you or any of the merch in the merch store for 24-hour period, then that will give you a 1-month guild membership so that you can stream season 2. So all you got to do is go to the merch store, buy one thing, and you'll get 1 month of guild to watch not just our show but whatever else is available in the guild, and it's a good way to support the show and also to see season 2 if you haven't.
Yes, definitely see it. And there's so much good merch like that toothy cowbell.
Yes, I know. There's all kinds of fun stuff. It's funny, every couple of weeks I go online and poke around, and because sometimes stuff shows up and I don't know about it. I'll be like, "Oh, that's cool," and then I order it because even I order from the store to support the show. Just gonna say, the author doesn't get free stuff all the time.
Hey Andrew, I've seen in other live streams that you love these figurines, these Wingfeather
Yes.
figurines.
Oh man, I almost died the day that I first saw those figurines. I love them.
Awesome.
It made me so happy. There's a lot of nostalgia in there because I remember playing with He-Man figures and G.I. Joe and all that kind of stuff, and seeing like these characters in figurine form was just very cool. And so there is a special video that we are going to share with you featuring the figurines that it will explain itself, but it's really fun. So check this out.
Where'd she go?
Listen!
Nugget!
Put him down, you slithery bully!
Come closer, little hobbler, and I'll give your bones a crunch.
Hey! Whoa, okay. Take it easy.
Disgusting piglets. You smell better with...
Wiggly!
Thanks for having me fight that fang.
Run!
So awesome.
Yes, isn't that so fun?
That's so fun.
Okay, wait. I'm just curious, Elijah. Have you ever done that before? Do you
I
did
have
you
done
grow up
something like that before. Yeah, with
the Legos?
Legos, like you
Yes.
take Legos and you make a stop motion or something.
Oh man, the
So
stop
fun.
motion thing's so fun. My kids did a ton. They loved Wallace and Gromit, and so there was a ton of stop motion happening in our house. But I don't.
That's
We
sweet.
didn't have like. I am an old man. I am a child of the 1900s, and in the 80s we didn't have like easy stop motion stuff to do. So it was all just like me laying on my stomach in my bedroom, like playing with little figurines. But I loved that stuff.
Imagination is great.
Yeah, it's really fun.
So we have some new merch to look at. Is that right?
Oh yes, new merch. So Assistant
seen it
Rachel
before.
is here to help with this merch, and so I was given strict instructions to not open these boxes. And in the spirit of Christmas, I'm going to open the boxes and see this new merch for the very first time. So
Christmas came early.
I'm so curious about this. I cannot wait to see what's going to happen. You can hear the noises.
I can hear the rustling.
we can. Okay, ready? Check it out, y'all. I have a box wrapped with Christmas paper.
Box.
And I'm going to tear it open and see what happens. Whoa. Okay, that.
Whoa.
Hold on. I'm going to open this up. Ooh, that is cool. Look at this. Wingfeather logo.
Ooh.
Super cool.
That's
On
right.
like a charcoal sweater. And if it's a large, I'm keeping it. It's a medium. I can't fit into it. So
I fit into it. Yeah.
okay, we'll get you one. And then there's Wingfeather on the back, or the W. That is really
That's
cool.
awesome.
Super awesome. Can't wait to wear
Nice colors.
an appropriately sized one of those. That's awesome. Very cool. What else do we have?
We'll watch
Here we
the-
go.
What do we have?
I have no idea
Ooh.
what's in here, but it is a very fancy plush little bag thing. And I'm going
It's
to
a
open
bag.
the bag because
It's
there's
inside
something
the
in it.
bag.
Don't know what this is. Ah!
Oh,
Look at that guy.
there.
It's a little Janner dude. And check it out. It's
And the Calmar
It's a
too.
little cow. Look at that guy. And then, hold on. This is amazing.
Probably Lily
There's a
too.
little Lily.
There we go.
Check her out. Oh,
All their
that's
seasonal
so cool.
outfits.
That is amazing. And it comes in this fancy little bag. Anyway, that's what is there Elijah, is there a name for this kind of plushie?
I don't know. I haven't seen anything like that before. That's great.
That is the cutest thing ever. Oh, and I guess are they ornaments? Oh,
Yeah.
they're Christmas
That's
ornaments.
crazy.
Janner, they got little things, and it comes in a little Christmas bag. I'm realizing what it is now. That is awesome.
That's so
Very
cute.
awesome.
Get some of those.
Wow. Amazing. I don't know if I'm allowed to keep these, but just so you guys know, I'm keeping them. Let me see what else. Okay, here we go.
Ooh.
Okay, there's the big
Oh,
version.
wow. It's a huge one.
Look
at that.
Serious
That's something.
Peanuts vibes from this in the best way. Hold on. It's a great wing feather, Charlie Brown. Okay, look at this.
And
Janner. Oh, that's amazing. I love them so. Hold on, as I put my hand right over here. Oh, there's a... And finally, we have the cutest Lily ever. Oh my goodness.
Oh, that's so good.
Look at the little like rosy cheeks.
Wow.
This is amazing. I wish that I feel like I'm not cool enough to know what these are called, but there's probably some like fan thing where it's like, oh, those are so and so's. Anyway.
Yeah. If figurines aren't your thing, there's tons of plush characters
Seriously,
you can
this
go.
is so cool. So we got these. We have the very cool squishy Christmas ornaments in a little bag. And and then the sweatshirt, because it's getting chilly outside, and we've got this really cool t-shirt or sweatshirt. Yeah, amazing.
All right.
So that is the new merch. It's very cool. Don't forget, you can go use the code LIVE, and for the next 24 hours, get a whole month of Guild and watch season 2 if you buy one of the things. Yeah. So yes, do it. Elijah says you should do it, right, Elijah?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Everyone should go do it.
Everyone should go do it. Don't be disgruntled like Elijah was. It doesn't pay. So I just want to say, this is the end of my little section of this thing. So I'm just going to say Merry Christmas to everybody. It's been nice to see you, and nice to hang out, Elijah. And I'm going to leave you before Chris comes on with a really sweet Christmas greeting from the Wingfeather cast and crew. So see you guys later. Thanks, Elijah.
Thank you so much.
My favorite part of season 2 is Poto and his storytelling inside of the Strander camp.
Many years ago, I was fishing in a bend in the Black.
I thought it was really fun to see what the animators came up with, and he's just a great storyteller.
My favorite moment from season 2 was when the family enters the Strander camp and you get to see everything for the first time.
My favorite part about season 2 was when Tink steals Claxton's dagger and pulls it out of nowhere to show him.
Claxton's dagger!
He swapped it! I mean, he's got like an invisible pocket dimension.
I'm a huge fan of Fin Gap Falls from like a technical perspective. Like everything going on behind the scenes there is really, really cool. I really love it when Nia just like eases everybody aside and then just leaps over that huge gap. It's just so cool.
My favorite moment from season 2 is probably when Janner and Sarah decide to team up and work together to escape the Fork Factory. What's our next step? I think it's so fun, and they're such a good team. It's very exciting.
My favorite moment from season 2 is definitely when Merly finally stands up to her dad.
You're a hog-nosed, pig-faced, pig-bellied pig!
I'm so excited for all the growth that she goes through, not even just in this season, but in the next one too, and I can't wait for you guys to see where she goes from here.
I think my favorite moment from season 2 was when Lily was playing her whistle harp and the visions opened up.
Keep playing.
And they saw the dragon swimming through the ocean and it looked like they were flying.
Thanks for watching the show, and happy holidays from all of us over here working on it.
Happy holidays!
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays from the Wingfeather crew.
Happy holidays, everybody.
Happy holidays from the Wingfeather Saga team.
Wow, that was a really fun video. Now, our next guest is Chris Wall, and he's going to be here to talk about Season 3 and give us some updates. So, welcome, Chris Wall.
Well, I don't...
Hey,
Hey.
just hanging out with my favorite figurine. Those figurines are awesome. That was really fun.
Question
How are
is-
you, Elijah? Welcome.
It's good. Yeah,
I don't want to criticize, but you've been really pinging us about news.
I
Our
have.
archives, and so here we are.
Yes.
Bringing the news.
You're going to bring us some news?
And I want to be clear. It's not that we're not working, Elijah. We are working.
I'm sure
it
you're
is
working.
just what to update when, and so I'm glad we get to finally talk because I want to talk, but I got people around me saying don't talk. There's these scary figures saying don't talk, and I'm like, but I want to talk. And then I look over, and there's even scarier figures. There's just so much. But tonight I get to talk to you, so let's do it.
So exciting.
Let's get into it. Yeah.
All right. So where are you at with season 3? What's going on?
I don't know. No, I'm kidding. Season 3 is amazing. We were a year ago this time, actually, we were making animatics and deep into it. And then in the spring, we had to kind of take a pause for a little bit while we figured out how the funding was going to work for season 3 and 4. And then our friends at Inno Studios stepped in, and oh my gosh, it's been amazing. We are cranking away as they're helping us make season 3 and 4. That's right. Season 4. When we finish our time here, don't freak out. Yes. But I actually have to go read and make notes on episode 1 of season 4 in its script. That's what I'm into, which may or may not involve the water craw at Ben Rona, just whatever. Who knows? A guy named Rudrick, a big hammer. Anyways, but yeah, so season 3 has restarted. We're about 2 months into animation. We've been doing kind of a ramp up of animation where we started with a smaller couple of animators because we are actually animating in Unreal Engine now. So normally animation throughout the world is mostly done in a software called Maya, and that's what we use for season 1 and 2. We build the show in Unreal, but we animate it over in Maya. So this season we're actually animating directly in Unreal. They have some new tools, and we built out a bunch of new tools over summer that allow us to do that work, which took a lot of work from Keith Lango. On our team. He's awesome. And so we the full animation team will ramp up starting I think next week. We kind of been adding animators as we go, and so they're animating in episodes 1 and 2 right now of season 3, and it's moving along nicely. So we've been recording with our actors that had been on hold. So we've been recording with everybody, and it's been really fun because each actor we've brought back has been like, I'm so glad we get to keep doing this, right? Because I think like a lot of you out there, like, are we doing this? It's so quiet. Really happy to be back. And then we're recording, tomorrow afternoon, recording with Borley. And yeah, so that's going to be super fun. And just a big note, I'm sure it's one of the questions I would assume you would have, which is what's going to happen with Kalmar. A lot of fans know that Griffin, who's been playing Kalmar since season 1, got a little older and his voice changed. And so, unfortunately, we've had to recast that. But we have a new Kalmar that we're very excited about. Can't wait for people to hear. And so that'll be part of season 3 as well. So yeah, that's what we're up to. It's it's a very complicated thing, animation. From storyboards through to making the show and getting it out there. But it's all working. The whole team's working. It's really fun.
It's fun. So are there new characters in season 3 as well?
Okay, that is a great question. And I'm going to I don't want to tell you everything because we got a long way to go before we get to season 3. So I'm going to answer your questions as best I can. But I got to leave something out. I got to leave some meat on the bone because we got to have stuff to talk about later. I don't want to. Is that okay? I don't want to be cagey, but I want to give you some things to think about. So I'll tell you. Yes, there's new characters as we do, but there's so many great characters in the books. So we are first referencing them, but there was a real hole where we're like, oh, we need this. We need a character, and that is. And I'll ask you this question. Ready?
Yeah.
Who is in charge in Chimera? So Chimera is the underground city in the ice prairies that we've heard from season 1. Like if you go to the ice prairies, it's cold and the green fangs lizards can't survive there. So everybody has been for 9 years fleeing to the ice prairies. And now the Igiby family, the Wingfeathers, are fleeing to the ice prairies, right? And so who's in charge in Chimera in the ice prairies?
Who's in charge of the humans or in charge of the fangs?
So let's focus on the people. We're not going to talk about fangs yet, but focus on people. Who do we think's in charge? And somebody's got to be in charge there.
I believe it would be Gammon.
Yeah, so Gammon is actually, so in the writer's room, we were like, oh, it's Gammon. And then we started thinking about it, and Gammon's not in charge. So Gammon is from Dugtown. He was a farmer, and his kids were taken. Remember, it's this really sad story. And his family's gone, and so he's been this fighter against the Fangs, right? So he is kind of a guy working out of Chimera, but he's not in charge there. And we know that Chimera is a long city. It's been there for a long time under the ice, because Poto, when he was a young boy, spent time in Chimera. Right. So who's in charge? Well, it's not in the books, actually. It's not listed. And as you remember, I think we talked about this last time, but there's a lot of stuff in that at the end of the second book, North or Be Eaten, that goes kind of fast. And we're making that our whole season, is kind of really spending time in the ice periods. And so it opened up the question of, there were two big questions that it opened up. One is, who's in charge of Chimera? And then how did Kalmar make his decision in the Foob Islands? So that's the second. We'll get to it later. And so that raised this question of, there's probably a boss person. And so we've introduced a new character. And I'll tell you her name. It's a she, is Anwa. And she is super cool, older character that is... We kind of have a back history that we made of her, that imagining that maybe her and her husband ruled there, and then he, during, a fight or part of the invasion, maybe died, and she's taken over and has been helping all these refugees over the 9 years to come to Chimera. So that's been a thing.
So, Chris, are there any other new characters we're going to meet in this season?
Yeah, I mean, if you got to populate a whole season of a town and a battle that we're headed to, we got to do some. So some of you guys that have all seen season 2 may have seen a character right at the end named Timber. So he is a gray fang. We've introduced wolf fangs, and man, he's scary, super intense, and really excited about that. We have not announced who is going to voice that. We had one character, we had one of our actors voiced in season 2, just kind of to hold it, but we're going to cast that with someone else that we'll announce later, which is very fun. And yeah, there's more to come, but we'll pause there on the new character list.
All right. Thank you. So we started this journey with Ganon and Merly. They're going across the mountains. They're all on their own. So how's that going to work out?
That's a good question. So, Merrily from the Strand is kind of a version of Kalmar, right? Like impulsive, act first, think about it later. It's also unsure how much Janner can really trust her. So what I wanted to make sure we got is that particularly at the start of season 3, that they, are kind of at odds with each other. Like they're not, they're fitful traveling partners. And of course, they're going to become really good traveling partners, right? So I think that was intentional at the beginning of season 3. It was to show that they, kind of face their problems in different ways and have to kind of work between each other and kind of solve that, and then become this duo almost, and seeing kind of each other's strengths and weaknesses. So that's been how we're getting into them in season 3.
What I was hoping for.
Yeah.
Really excited to see them.
Good. I'm glad you like that.
Also, there's also Gammon. He has a special relationship with Merly that is going to develop at some point.
He does, and the same thing. Like, I think she should be immediately distrusting of Gammon, right? He's this outsider, don't know him. And she kind of has a problem with, think about it. Her and her dad, big problems. So I can imagine she just doesn't really get along with male authority figures, right? That there's going to be some baggage there. So we wanted to really play that into their relationship. And I think you'll see over season 3, kind of the arc of their relationship. That was really important to me, is to build up and I think they're going to have a happy outcome, but it's going to take a bit of getting there, right? There's some definite challenges. Everybody who's read the story knows there's some big challenges coming up in trust, right? And she, coming as a Strander, she's come from a community and a culture of people who don't trust. And so there's definitely a building of trust, and then maybe challenging of that. And so it's got a lot of push and pull. I think the thing that they probably regard each other, and I've had a lot of fun thinking about, and we've built some cool scenes towards this, is they're both fighters.
Yeah.
Okay. And so there's a respect there of their ability. And there's a particularly cool sequence in which there is a bit of one-on-one with them. That's I think people are gonna really like that. Yeah.
Yeah, people really love those characters.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've been talking a lot about new characters. Are there any old characters that are returning, maybe from previous seasons?
That's a great question. So that actually came up, I'll just be honest, late. I didn't think about it for a while, which was there's these great characters that we met in season 1. Ferenia ended up being this really vibrant character. Even some characters that were at Shaggy's Tavern in episode 1 that were really fun and like, wonder what happened to them after Glipwood got in trouble. So it's been fun to think about how they could find their way back into season 3. Could they have escaped and gotten to the Ice Prairies, right? So there's a whole cast of characters from S1 that we've been looking at, and some will make an appearance in season 3. And some, importantly, I think that the question then is, you can do them as just like a fun cameo just because that's fun, and we might do that. But also, like, how could they contribute to the story? Like, don't just show up, actually give them something to do, you know? So, yeah, that's some fun stuff there.
Curious. Will it be a surprise? It'll be a fun surprise.
Yes, yeah. But I can tell you, Ferenia is definitely going to make an appearance.
So let's check back in on our group in the Ice Prairies in Chimera.
Let's go. Yeah.
Janner and Kalmar. How's Nia feeling about this?
Oh, buddy, that was the hardest thing in season 2, right? Like, as a mom, you can imagine, my mother, if she had to leave me as a, 12-year-old and 10-year-old kid in a big city, and it'd be hard. It'd be just so difficult. And so that was really important to me that they're obviously on the run, but there's a moment when they arrive, right? When Poto and Nia get to Chimera, of now what? And I wanted to kind of get into that. And so there's some cool scenery there of us building up, okay, how do they then act? And I think Nia, what we do there, really demonstrates her sense of loss and grief, and what steps she'll take to maybe correct that. So we're very much exploring that. I think even differently than the book does. We're kind of getting into her POV, like how is she experiencing this, right? So yeah, definitely there. And then flipping it, so it's for the audience. It's like you get to see like what Janner and Kalmar are actually experiencing, and then what Nia's feeling about that, which I think is interesting.
Interesting, yeah. What about Poto? Poto's got his own path. It's sort of developed in season 2 when we saw he had a fear of the dragons, I guess.
Yeah, there's his relationship with the dragons is somewhat interesting and irrational, and there's obviously, for those that have read the books, know that near the end of the season there's a pretty big reveal about Poto and the sea dragons that it's going to be really important. We've been building up this idea, his ability to take the family to the Ice Prairies is because he's been there, right? He's been to Chimera. That comes with its challenges, though, because he's a seaman. He's an ex-pirate, and so he's sailed there, but he hasn't exactly marched from the top, and so that creates some fun challenges as he figures out how to plug in there. Yeah, and then once there, I think we've had a lot of fun thinking through how does he engage with the people that are there, because they're also seafaring people, so it's kind of picking up old friendships. The question you were going to ask is, will there be a shanty? The answer is yes.
Yes, shanty.
We're like, okay, if we got Poto with a bunch of other sailors, we should totally do a shanty.
Why not?
So Andrew wrote a new shanty that we're gonna they'll show up in their dining room. It's really fun. It's a great.
Love that so much.
Yeah.
So I can ask this: what role is Oscar going to play in Chimera?
Yeah, so a lot of the characters you start to go, if you imagine here, I will use my Nerf Darts as illustrations. Why do I have Nerf Darts at my desk, you may ask?
Who knows?
I can't tell you. Anyways, So you have to think about, are there any characters who have gone dead on you, who just kind of are in the scene, but whoop, don't have anything going on? And Oscar and Lily are both characters that can happen to frequently. And we have a large cast. And so you have to kind of think about, what can I do to keep them paying attention? And Oscar kind of rides along a bit.
Mm-hmm.
So we've been playing the idea that I think the thing that Nia is going to pressure him on is, I need you to help us understand why Nag the Nameless wants the kids, the Jewels of Vanera, so badly. Okay. Mm-hmm. And we have this first book. So that's why in season 2, they start translating right away. The first book is because we think there's answers in the first book, because Esben, their dad, gave them this thing. And so there's probably answers about who they are, what their role is in the world. There are actually. And so let's work on translating that. So getting to Chimera is another place that maybe can have a resource for helping him translate. So that's kind of his driver. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then, as always, food. Garp chowder is a big favorite, so he's very excited about
Lots
that.
of good food in Chimera.
That's right. Fish food mostly, but yeah.
Mostly seafood. Yeah. So you mentioned Borley. How are our Fork Factory characters? Are we going to see them again?
That's a great question. So again, if you've read the books, you know that the Fork Factory, once Janner leaves, we don't really come back to it till much later in book 3. And I wanted to go ahead in season 3 and just kind of wrap up that story, or get it to a place where we felt some resolve. So we are going to revisit with Sarah and what happened after Jenner left, right? And what other characters, Borley, who we introduced in season 2, as a friend of Sarah's and others, what will they do? How will these characters react to that? And so we're going to go ahead and take that in. And so by the end of season 3, we'll have figured out what happens in the Fork Factory. Yeah, I'll just say that.
So in all this ice and snow, I'm sure our characters are going to be really cold in all their outfits that they made. Do they get new outfits, new designs?
They do, absolutely. Yeah, so if you remember from season 1, which was kind of life at Glipwood and the farm, to season 2, we put them in adventure mode. Like they went to their favorite outdoor gear shop and bought, outdoor travel stuff, right? Mm-hmm. Now in season 3, we've got to get them in the ice prairies, and they've got to be able to be comfortable there. So yes, have a whole new set of costumes that are involving a lot of fluffy things to keep them warm. And I think one of my favorites, I just actually watched a bit of animation for episode 1 with Oscar in his costume, and he's got the best hat. It is fantastic. So I'm going to show you. Here is Oscar's design for season 3. Like that alone is worth the price of admission, man. He looks fantastic. And yeah, super excited about him. And I think you're going to have a lot of fun seeing the rest of the cast too.
Sweet.
Oh, I will say, actually, now you said that, I totally forgot this. Janner and Merly are a bit underdressed. And so one of the solutions they have to come up with is how to keep themselves warm as they go to the ice prairies, because they don't have the same... they just didn't have the same preparedness because of what happened in the Strander camp. So there's some choices they have to make that I think you're going to really like.
What's going to happen there? So there's all this snow and ice in Chimera, right? You haven't had to deal with snow and ice before in animation. So how's that working?
Yeah, season 2, the really hard thing was the water and the waterfall on that poster behind you, making it feel painterly and kind of in our style. And snow and ice is definitely working on. So we have a couple of guys on our team. So Chris Vlaha on our team is one of our R&D folks who are testing and figuring out new things. John Mark, who works with Keith up in Washington, is actually his son, is working on some R&D on how the ice fractures off and breaks into the right pieces, and this kind of thing. And yeah, it's creating. And then we want to have a lot of translucence so that the when you're down in Chimera, there's light can pass through, so like kind of ice domes, if you will. It kind of makes almost like a sunroof, where light can filter in, so you can get a sense of time of day and night and that kind of thing. And then, how that filters into different parts of the hall. So to give you an example of this, I actually have an image I want to show you, which is of the dining hall. And it's this big scene. But this is an early concept piece of what the dining hall in Chimera looks like. So let's have a look at this. And this hallway is something that we had to work on for a while because, whenever you have a fire, you have to justify how is that fire actually going to work without breaking stuff, do I believe it's real? And this was fun to think about and make sure that it, is believable, and then influence a lot of ice. Right. And so anyways, so this is kind of our first idea of what that's going to look like. Again, it's a concept piece, so it gives you a good idea of it, but it will get developed from there. Yeah.
Crazy. So in season 3, we're going to have a lot of, in the book, there's a lot of battles and action scenes and chaos and all this stuff is going on. How's that going to work into the show?
Yeah, it's that's requiring it's a technical challenge because we have a couple significant battles. So we have a battle in the ice prairies, in the snow and the ice, that's going to unveil with hundreds of characters at least. So there's some challenges to animation. This is one of the things we wanted to animate in Unreal Engine because we will be able to use some of that technology to help us with these bigger battle crowd scenes, right? So very excited about what's going to get done there. We have creatures that are going to be a part of that. So the Chorkneys, these amazing birds from Chimera, have to find their way. And these battle sequences we want to be pretty intense, right? We want to make sure they're working. So I will show you a sneak peek of what this looks like. But these birds, we have them as kind of small ones, and then we get to have them as full size. So the Chorkneys, when it comes to battle time, not to spoil, but it will look a little bit like this.
That's so exciting.
So super intense. That opened up all kinds of interesting story ideas, because if they're super intense and big like this, well, they have to be babies and have to be trained. So what does that look like? And open up a kind of a whole set of story ideas on the Chorkneys all by themselves, But yeah, figuring out this level of kind of complexity. Later, we have some stuff aboard, some boats involving sea dragons, and so even those ones there's a lot. There's a lot. We definitely, each season, it's like, how hard can we make it for ourselves, And this one's definitely got some big challenges ahead of us.
Interesting. So we'll see Chorkneys. Are we going to see any new characters, creatures? Are we going to see any new creatures?
New creatures, yeah. Chorkneys, I think, are definitely the ones we were going to have the most fun with. We're going to do a number of reprising of creatures. Let's just put it that way. So the Stony Mountains, we feel like, are a place where we could absolutely have fun with creatures you may have seen before in season 1 and 2, making an appearance. I don't want to say too much more about it, but yeah, that was fun.
So for seasons 1 and 2, you shared some color scripts and some animatics. Those are always fun to see. So do you have anything like that headed our way?
We've got a lot of cool stuff that we're going to start sharing. We do have color scripts that have been worked on. I've seen the one for episode 1. I think episode 2 is almost done in color script, and we're going to start sharing that, as well as we actually have some outtakes, some alt scenes from season 1 and from season 2 that we're going to start feeding out. We're going to first put those out into our Wingfeather Guild. It's all those amazing folks who are part of our either investors or supporting us in the guild. They're going to get to see this stuff first. So over the next few months, we're going to do that. And then we're actually going to start putting animatics for season 3. So the storyboards, that are in there, to let you guys have a look and even give us feedback on what you think of how these episodes are progressing. And that'll help us to make sure we're staying on track. But that'll all start in the guild. And that, I tell you, Elijah, that has absolutely been an unlock for us to be able to keep making Wingfeather, has been the support inside of the guild. Yeah. It has been really, really fantastic. And I can't say enough about how that really changed things at the beginning of the year. And Howard. Now, I know it makes it weird. So, and you've commented on this too on Aerwiar Archives, but that it does make for, some people get to see it here, some elsewhere. It's not different from other series though. Like if you think about other things you want to watch, if it's on Netflix or if it's on Amazon or if it's on Disney. You know, if you're not a member, you don't get to see it, right? And so I think that's the thing here. I do think there's lots of really cool stuff in the Angel Guild as a whole that are showing up that make it better every day, right? So I think that's worth it as family and fans. There's other things to watch, and there's more coming, and I'm very excited about some of the new things that are coming that will sit alongside Wingfeather in the Angel Guild.
And
But
like
so the guild, we're going to try to give them early looks at some of this stuff as we go along, which will include color scripts. So those will go out there very soon, actually, in just the next couple of weeks, and then animatics right behind that. And yeah, I'm very excited about that.
So if they want to see some of that, they can use the code LIVE. Join the guild.
That's right. So if folks aren't part of the guild and they want to jump in with us, we got this cool thing, all that merch that you and Andrew got to look at, which I am so excited about. I actually got to see it before Andrew did, and the pillows and the ornaments. Oh my gosh, they're so awesome. And I love puzzles too. So lots of good stuff. And there's actually some other merch showing up at the store that we didn't announce that I just heard about that will over the next few weeks just kind of show up magically. So that wasn't everything. There's even more to come.
To keep checking.
Including, and I think it's going to happen, but we've been talking a lot about an RPG, a role-playing game in Wingfeather World. And we've done testing on it and stuff. I think that's actually going to make it to the store before Christmas. I hope so. I'm very excited about what's happened there. But anyways, there's lots more things coming in. And so like Andrew said earlier, anybody that maybe isn't part of the guild or wants to support the show, and if you go buy merch, you can use the code LIVE and get a free month of guild as part of that. So that's super cool. There's lots of great stuff to watch and a great time to do it over the holidays. So yeah, but that guild support's been huge and has helped us make it. So our staff, like our whole crew, is back to work now because of all the support. We're almost to full speed. Like I said, there's some more animators joining next week and working away. So, back to your point, sorry we haven't had as many updates, Elijah, but appreciate your patience. And we will continue to add more information as we go. And I don't want to dump it out too early. Like I want to make sure we give, because there's so many more things we can talk about and tell you about, but I want to make sure we save some so we can have a good long conversation over the next number of months. So
like Andrew said, don't want to be disgruntled.
Don't want to be disgruntled. No, we don't want that for you.
Well, thank you for joining us, Chris. It's nice to have you.
Yep. My pleasure. Thanks for having me. Thanks for your good questions. I've got lots more I want to tell you about season 3 and 4, but we'll do it in the new year. We'll kind of hold till now and hope everybody has an awesome Thanksgiving and a great Christmas. And if you haven't, you had better go subscribe and follow us, whether you want to do that on Insta. We have a TikTok. I don't know if you know that. It's pretty great. Facebook or YouTube. But appreciate you guys supporting the show and being a part of the community here as we share our love for this great story, both in the books and in the animated series. Love it.
Absolutely. And remember to go get merch. Use that code LIVE and you can get 1 month of Guild free. And you can go watch season 2. You can share it with your family, your friends, anyone.
It's great. Good to see you, Elijah.
Good to see you.
Thanks for having me. All right. Take care, everybody. Hope you have a good night.
Happy holidays.